station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Well, Rise and Grind DMV, it is the last day of winter, and boy, is it going to feel like it when you are stepping out the door. But don't worry, to ring in the spring season, we're talking about warmer temperatures, so definitely keep it here. We'll time that out for you guys in a few.
Coming up this morning on DC News Now, 24 hours of violence, 3 separate situations in DC, all of them resulting in teenagers being shot, and in one case, even being killed. Our team is investigating this morning. We're going to have the latest, plus a message from the family of one of the victims, why they say their death of their relative won't change anything in their neighborhood. And a call to action as the possibility of Donald Trump's arrest becomes more real. The former president is calling on his supporters, what he is asking them to do in that long social media post. Also, another one bites the dust. Maryland falls to a top-seeded team in the NCAA tournament. How the state can still go all the way and take it back home. Your time now, 8 o'clock. Thanks so much for joining us. Live look there at Reagan National Airport, and the wind is just throwing that camera around. We have named DC and the DMV and Virginia specifically because it's been so windy around here, the Windy City. We understand that there already is an existing Windy City somewhere else in the country.
Chicago out.
But we don't care because it has been super windy these past couple weeks. And it appears today, Brittany, that wind still isn't going anywhere. Yeah,
it's going to be breezy today, but then they'll start to die down as we head into the later half of our evening. Wind gusting right now upwards of 30 miles per hour, shifting out of the northwest, which is going to be ushering in that cooler air we're going to be seeing as we head into your Sunday. So stepping out the door, these are the wind chill values, meaning what it feels like outside. Feels like 19 here in the nation's capital, 12 as you head over there to Hagerstown, 21 there in Fredericksburg, Virginia. Only feels like 6 degrees there in Kaiser. So you want to bundle up because even though those temperatures are in the lower to upper 20s, it still feels a lot cooler than what those outside temperatures are. And that's going to be the trend as we head through your day today. Taking a look at the last 24 hours, we are about 10 to 14 degrees cooler than we were this time yesterday. So it will be a chilly day as you guys are stepping out the door. So planning your morning here in the nation's capital, have that jacket on hand. We're going to be at the freezing mark by that 9 o'clock hour, 34 as we head into 10. We'll start to see more sunshine by 11 and getting into the upper 30s. So definitely keep it here, Joe. We'll time out that 7-day in a few.
Not going anywhere. Brittany Ward to start us off there from the Weather Center. Brittany, thank you. Good to have you with us on this Sunday morning. I am Joseph Omo. Coming up in just a minute, we're going to have more on what could be the arrest of a former president and his calls for nationwide protesting coming up this week. But we begin here at home in D.C. with a string of shootings across the district, all of them happening over the course of just 24 hours. So it started in southeast D.C. You can take a look at the map up there on your screen. 2 teen boys are being treated right now for their injuries after over 4 dozen shots were reportedly fired in the Wheeler Creek neighborhood. Both boys are expected to be okay. Now, up in Northeast, police are investigating another shooting involving a teenager. It happened on Friday at the Turkey Thicket Rec Center. The teen boy was shot in the neck. He is also expected to survive. Also in Northeast, a 17-year-old has died after an encounter with U.S. Park Police. We're going to dig a little bit deeper now into that shooting with Park Police because not much is known about what really happened. Family and friends are demanding that police reveal more answers. We start off this morning with Dave Laval and the information he received after attending yesterday's press conference. Take a look.
Y'all supposed to protect us. Y'all kill him.
A grieving woman cries out for her teenage son. She claims he was the person shot and killed during a confrontation with 2 U.S. Park Police officers who pursued a stolen car. Park Police say they responded just before 9 a.m. Saturday at 34th Street and Baker Street Northeast. The pursuit ended when the SUV crashed into a house along 36th Street Northeast near the corner of Kenilworth Avenue.
Officers on scene attempted to detain the male driver. The driver fled the scene.
Sergeant Thomas Twinname says the unidentified driver drove away from the officers.
A U.S. Park Police officer was trapped in the vehicle, was unable to get out of the car. A second United States Park Police sergeant was dragged by the vehicle as it fled the scene.
That's when the officer inside the car took action.
A firearm was discharged by the officer. Officers rendered aid immediately. A male was pronounced deceased on scene.
Police say they found another gun in the car and that their officers had been at nearby River Terrace Park, which is part of the National Park System, when they responded to the call. Although investigators have not released the name of the suspect who died, those who knew him had plenty to say.
He was loved by his siblings. He was a brother. He was a father. He was somebody's child.
Makia Green and Nene Taylor are friends of the family. They're among those demanding more information about what happened.
And just know this community is no less safer because
No more safer
because the 17-year-old is gone.
He deserved an opportunity to live. And right now, the family has to go through something that no one can ever prepare for.
Investigators said people were in the house when the stolen car slammed into it. No one was injured. Body camera footage of what happened inside the car is also being reviewed. Both officers involved suffered non-life-threatening injuries. In Northeast, Dave Laval, DC News Now.
Dave, thank you. Your time now 8:05 this Sunday morning. New details about what could be the arrest of a former president. Donald Trump is being investigated right now for allegedly paying hush money to women that he had sexual encounters with over the years. And he recently posted on his social media site calling people to protest if he is arrested in that case. DC News Now's Katie Reed live in the studio this morning. Katie, even though he made it sound like he would be arrested, it looks like his own legal team isn't so sure.
Yeah, that's right. So former President Donald Trump took to his social media platform claiming his arrest would likely be coming this Tuesday, even though his legal team says that wasn't communicated to them by the prosecution. Trump has denied those encounters and whether or not they happened. And within hours of the message, his campaign was sending fundraising ads to supporters. Trump also said on his social media platform, claiming that America must be saved and calling for his supporters to protest. And while charges haven't yet been announced, District Attorney for New York, Alvin Bragg, is thought to be eyeing charges in that hush money investigation. And Trump was recently offered the chance to testify before the grand jury. Now, there's also been no public announcement of any time frame from the grand jury's work and the case. And one of Trump's lawyers says that his post was based on media reports. Now, lawmakers like House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, among others, backed the former president. But his former lawyer, Michael Cohen, had this to say.
At the end of the day, Donald Trump needs to be held accountable for his dirty deeds, if in fact that's the way that the facts play out.
Former President Trump would only be arrested if he refused to surrender. And his lawyers have previously said that he would follow normal procedure and would likely surrender at a New York police station or directly to the district attorney's office. Reporting in the studio, Katie Reed, DC News Now. Back to you.
Still so many questions, and it's probably going to be a very busy week in New York. Thanks so much, Katie. An update this morning after a video from the brutal police killing of Tyree Nichols went viral across the nation. A Memphis police officer who was on scene when Nichols was beaten to death has retired. His retirement came just one day before a hearing was scheduled to fire him. Lieutenant Dwayne Smith will be getting his full benefits package along with his retirement. This is all according to documents that were filed that would have revoked Smith's law enforcement certification. The documents also said Smith did not wear a body camera at the time of the fatal beating of Nichols. Well, President Biden unveiled his budget this week, and although many lawmakers on the Republican side of the aisle say he wants to spend too much, one member of the GOP is saying more money should be shelled out. West Virginia Senator Shelley Moore Capito claims the White House is not doing enough to fix the country's growing opioid problem. The senator says the budget proposal doesn't have enough money in it to fight fentanyl from coming across the southern border. She wants to see more technology that would be able to scan vehicles crossing the border.
Something called non-intrusive inspection, where we can inspect trucks as they go through. They don't see this as a crisis at the border, both on the human trafficking side or the drug trafficking side.
Yeah, for their side of the argument, the White House says stopping illegal drugs is a top priority. It points to the $25 billion in the budget for hiring more border agents and improving surveillance technology. So yesterday morning, we told you about this thing called the missing middle, as it's been referred to. It's a highly controversial debate about rezoning in Arlington County, Virginia, and now we can tell you it won't see any resolution until Wednesday. So the missing middle proposal tackles a lack of housing in the county that isn't single-family homes or high-rise apartments. Some say there needs to be an option between those two extremes. county board heard arguments over this proposal starting yesterday morning. Almost 250 people signed up to speak on the topic. Now, because of the extremely high turnout, a lot of people want to talk about it. The board won't deliberate on the proposal until Wednesday afternoon. The week of basketball for Maryland men's basketball team wrapped up last night. The Terps fell to #1 seeded Alabama. We were the only local station covering the Terps on the ground in Birmingham. And this morning, our Alex Flum delivers his final report on the road in Alabama.
The run for the Maryland Terrapins in the Big Dance comes to an end in the second round at the hands of the #1 overall seed, the Alabama Crimson Tide, falling 73-51.
These are people that you fight with, practice, battle with in the car every day, and it was just hard, just knowing that this would be our last game together, and just knowing that these are people I consider my brothers, people that I consider my family.
I'm super grateful to be with this group. Our camaraderie, how well we got along, how hard we competed on a day-to-day basis, really. That's all I can think about right now, really, after going out there and playing against a really good Alabama team.
I still have a smile on my face, just had the opportunity to play in front of so many people against the #1 team in the country. So it was just a blessing. It was special to do it with these guys.
Saturday's loss certainly stings for the Terps, but after missing the tournament last year, to make it to the second round as one of the last 32 teams standing in the nation in the first year of the Kevin Willard era is certainly quite an accomplishment. That'll do it here at Legacy Arena in Birmingham, Alabama. For DC News Now, I'm Alex Flum.
All right, Alex, thanks so much. Now take a look. That is the Game Night team. Game Night airs 7 nights a week right here on DC News Now at 11 p.m. They'll have more coverage tonight. Brittany?
Joe, it's definitely chilly out there. Brian, one of our weather watchers, just messaged me on Facebook saying the outside temperature in Frostburg is 13 degrees, and he's seeing those wind chill values in the single digits. So you really want to make sure that you are bundling up, especially if you're in the higher terrain, because you guys will be seeing that cool pocket of air as we head through the rest of your Sunday. But planning your brunch here in the nation's capital, temperatures will be in the upper 30s. As we head into that 11 o'clock hour, starting to see more peaks of sunshine throughout the rest of your Sunday, with temperatures struggling to get out of the 40s. But then come tomorrow for the first day of spring, we're talking about those highs getting into the 50s. Lots of sunshine, and then we're also tracking 70 degrees in that 7 days. So definitely keep it here. We'll talk about that, Joe, in just a few.